All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us for Horseshoe Talk, Indianapolis Colts show. We'll talk some Colts football. 1 week, just under a week from the season opener on Sunday against the Houston Texans. The Colts have the Colts favored in that game on the road. But yeah, man, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the NFL. We'll talk about some of the Colts rosters, moves and stuff. But, joined by my dad, Tony Gonzalez, like always. Tony might jump on here in a little bit, but how you doing, Dad?
Oh, doing pretty good. Excited for football to start up. Thursday with the big Thursday night game and all the other games. Like you guys were talking earlier on one of the shows that there's a lot of interesting football games on this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of college football, and it was crazy. But no, with the Colts, Colts have had some good news. We'll talk about more about the game here in a minute, but they've had some good news where, uh, still sounds so weird saying it. Shaquille Leonard, uh, has been activated off the physically unable to perform list. So if that happens, I mean, with that happening, I'm still don't know if if he's going to play in week 1 or not. From what I've read, it sounds like it just depends on how practices go this week. So I mean, if he can start week 1 and they said that he hasn't really been healthy his whole career since I think his rookie year was the last time he was. They said he had a healthy ankle, and look at the numbers he's put up on a bad ankle. He's been arguably the best linebacker in the league.
Yep.
Now they're saying that you get him back maybe healthy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to the season. I think their defense is going to be. I don't want to jinx it, but I think it's going to be a lot better than what it was last year. I really do with the pieces that they picked up. Still, not say worried, but I'm cautious that the offensive line is going to do well, but I think it will. I'm pretty confident in Matt Ryan, and I'm again thinking the receivers are going to do good, but I'm still a little cautious on that. But I expect big things from the Colts. If they don't make the playoffs, I'll be really disappointed. And that's not counting injuries. Injuries happen to every team, and it can make a difference. I mean, how many times
Yeah.
have we seen some Super Bowl teams, win the Super Bowl, come back the next year and don't even make the playoff? So you just don't know.
Don't we have Glenn said 1-0 just like IU. Yeah, I'm hoping that's
Yep.
how it goes. Mike Hughes, hey, what's up, Mike Hughes? Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow on Unscripted about the WNBA stuff.
Yep.
And he said, I think down the stretch, Gilmore is going to be a huge for this team. Oh, I agree, Mike. Gilmore, I think, was an awesome pickup. I think he can still play. I don't think I'm not going to say he's still in his prime, but I don't think he's way past his prime either. I think he still can play at a high level. So I think that's just going to help our secondary even more.
I think that he's really going to fit into Gus Bradley's scheme. I'm expecting big things from him. I think Leonard's going to thrive. I think we're going to have a good pass rush. I think we're going to have a really good defense. I really do.
Um, I'm really interested in seeing how Matt Ryan looks in his first game. Like in this first game, because I've read some stuff today where Frank Reich was saying that they have an element of surprise with Matt Ryan at quarterback for the first real game, a real scheme coming in now. Said in the preseason we did nothing. He said we did nothing. It was so generic.
Oh yeah.
So I'm interested to see because this is the second or third time I've heard something about a scheme with this new scheme, or not new, but the scheme in the offense with Matt Ryan and Naeem Hines being the different usage he's going to be. So
Yep.
I'm interested in this first game to see what kind of differences, how different is the offense going to look this year with Matt Ryan back there and not Carson Wentz. Because you hear a lot about a scheme. We never really heard a whole lot about a scheme like that where we're going, you know what I mean? Even when that tight end got hurt, they were talking about how big that he was going to be in their offensive scheme and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard something about maybe two backs in the backfield at the same time at times. I still think that you may see Hines line up in the wide receiver position.
Oh, I think you're going to some this year just because of how young of a receiving core we have,
And Hines is
especially if
so
anybody gets hurt.
well, and Hines is so dangerous if he gets his hands on the ball with a couple steps to clear.
Oh yeah, he's
He,
real dangerous in the open field.
yeah, so I mean, it makes sense to me. I thought they should have did it last year. I remember telling you that, but
Yep.
you know, I did read some stuff today. Of course, just let me clarify. It was a Bleacher Report guy. So you're talking about just a columnist who I don't know how much if he knows any more about football than we do, but he'd give the original draft an A, and he had knocked it down to a B after the preseason, which a B still ain't bad, but he felt like the defensive recruits or the defensive rookies have really looked good. Where he thinks the offensive rookies have not looked good. The offensive lineman that they were really high on that they drafted is not in the starting rotation as right now. That don't mean he won't be in the rotation, but he's not starting. Pryor's got that position right now, but that don't mean that guy's not going to get playing time and couldn't. Hell, he may eventually be the starter. Uh, uh, also said the one tight end, not Ogletree. Of course, Ogletree got hurt. But the other guy, I'm forgetting his name right now, Woods. That some people think that early on in the preseason he looked lost, but he was starting to look better towards the end. Well, I don't think that's unusual for a college player to maybe have some struggles
Yeah.
sometimes in the preseason. So I think Woods is going to be good. I expect him to do well. I think we're going to have tight ends by committee, and I think they're going to be productive. I really do. I would have liked to been Ogletree. I would have liked to seen Ogletree there. He's not. That's just the way it is. But the Bleacher Report was real high on the defensive players uh, that were drafted that they had really played well in the preseason. But then again, how can how much can you go by? I think you should be able to tell more probably by the practices than you can the preseason game.
Yeah. I do too. And Mo Alley Cox is going to have to step up for the offense. I think that's going to be a big key. If he can step up for the offense in that tight end position, and I think he's capable of it.
Well,
A couple of years ago, he had like a breakout year, and then last year's numbers were down. But I mean, was that something to do with the quarterback, or something to do with maybe how this the scheme they were running last year, where he wouldn't he did have some trouble dropping passes too,
yeah,
and he has to clean that up.
I'm not gonna blame it on Wentz because he dropped some balls last year, and I don't know what the issue was. And Wentz has done pretty well with tight ends in the past, so I don't know if you can blame it on Wentz. But he did have a connection with Rivers. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, that year with Rivers, I mean he had a breakout season, and that's why I was expecting big things out of him last year, and it didn't happen. But it was on the last year, even when the Colts got on that roll and they won them games in a row. It was never where you felt like the Colts was in like a comfortable rhythm on offense at any part of the season last year. I mean, when they went on that run, yeah, the offense didn't play terrible, but the defense was playing outstanding.
Yep.
And then toward the end of the year, defense wasn't playing as good, and offensive line played terrible.
Yeah,
When
fell
everything
apart.
collapsed. But yeah,
And that's
you never had that. I never had that feeling though last year that our offense ever looked comfortable out there and ever gotten really like a comfortable rhythm.
the only game that stands out to me with that rhythm was that Buffalo game, where just everything seemed like everything clicked that day for offense and defense.
Yeah,
But other than that, that was one game. So
you know, one game, and oh no, we'll see. I think Matt Ryan's going to be good. You just never know. But I mean, it wasn't like Wentz he wasn't terrible. I know a lot of people say he was terrible. He wasn't terrible the whole season. At the end of the season, did he play great? No, but the whole team didn't play great. But I mean, Rivers came in, and I think Matt Ryan. I mean, I might be wrong, but I think Matt Ryan at this point in his career, I think when Rivers went to Indy, I think Matt Ryan is a little better right now than what Rivers was at that point. Just because Matt Ryan can, I'm not saying he can run and run and run, but he can move better than what Rivers could a couple of years ago when Rivers was a quarterback. I
yeah.
mean, if Rivers had to move in the pocket, we were screwed because, I mean, he just couldn't move like he used to be able to. Where I think Ryan can still move a little bit.
Well, I
I just
think a
think
lot.
Ryan was in a bad situation there in Atlanta for the last few years, and If you looked at, but like we talked before, if you look, it wasn't like his numbers were terrible. He put up pretty good numbers, and Atlanta would be. I mean, there was times Atlanta would play a lot of teams tough, and but then they couldn't get over the hump, and then the next game they, I mean, they were real up and down.
I think that the big key with Ryan is that what he brings to the table that Wentz didn't, because Wentz was mobile. He could be mobile. But I think the big key for him is, of course, with Ryan, with any quarterback, stay healthy. But I think the biggest key is his leadership. I don't think Wentz had that leadership ability, and I think that's why he's not there anymore. I think that was probably the biggest falling out with the owner, and I think that's why they went out and got somebody like Ryan, because Ryan's got that leadership, and I think that's why they were so excited, that they think that. I mean, I think the owner believes that they're a possible Super Bowl contender. So
Yeah, yeah, I know. Well, I know he does because they kept saying. I've heard him. That's a good point you made. I've heard over and over and over about this offseason about Matt Ryan's leadership, and how much different it is from last year, how much different this year feels from last year and stuff. So Matt Ryan's went in there and impressed everybody. I mean, so far, but you haven't played one regular season game yet.
and that's another thing is, I think Rivers had a better leadership than Wentz. Also, he made connection with players. I mean, we just talked about the connection he had with that tight end, Cox. Uh, I don't know, and I'm not going to blame it all on Wentz, but it just seemed like he never really had a big connection with any of the receivers. Of course, the receiving core wasn't the greatest, and we're questioning how good the receiving core is going to be this year. But I've already read a lot of stuff where he has spent a lot of time with these receivers. Ryan has worked with a lot of these receivers, so he's trying to build that relationship and trust and showing leadership. I've heard him say a lot of great things about Pierce. He thinks Pierce is going to be a star. I mean, some people are going to say, what's he supposed to say? He ain't going to be good. Sure. But he don't have to say he's going to be a star.
Yeah.
He can say, hey, he's a real good young man, and I think he's going to be good. But he went out of his way that I think that he's going to be a star in this league. So, I mean, so if he says that, I believe him. I mean, dude's been in the league for a long time and seen a lot of great players.
And they really believe, and they, from everything I've read, they really believe that, and they're really high on this receiving core that they have. They don't think that it's weak. In their mind, the way they talk, they don't think it's like a lot of people, like even myself, will say that's the one thing that worries me about the Colts is the receiving core. But I heard him say the other day, he goes, yeah, do I think T.Y. Hilton can still play? Yes, but we're happy where we're at right now. So I mean, they're pretty confident. Hopefully they're right, because if they're, I mean,
if they're right and they stay healthy, they are going to be a contender to do some damage in the playoffs. Not going to sit there and make a prediction they're going to win the Super Bowl or anything like that. And look, I want Colts on my team. I want them to win the Super Bowl every year. It's not going to happen. But I want them to be a contender and be in the playoffs and have a shot. If your team can do that, you got to be pretty happy, if your te's a contender.
Well, if you think about it, when we won our last Super Bowl with Manning, that wasn't, if out of all the teams that we had, the Colts had when Peyton Manning was there, that one, if you just looked on paper, nobody would have said that would have been the team that won the Super Bowl. We had more talented teams than that, but that team clicked at the right time. Because don't forget, they gave up like 360 yards rushing that in one game to Jacksonville that season, to Jones Drew and them. But then in that year in the playoffs, they played Larry Johnson from the Chiefs, top running back in the league, shut down Baltimore. They shut down all the top running backs. Bob Sanders came back and our defense changed. All of a sudden we could stop the run, and then our running game got going. Dominic, I said this earlier on a different show, Dominic Rhodes don't get the credit he should get for in that Super Bowl.
Well, that game that's one of the reasons they won the Super Bowl, because Rhodes, no doubt about it.
And he don't get talked about like that. You know what I mean? They talk about Manning, which rightly so.
Yeah.
But the big Dallas Clark catch. But they don't. I mean, you don't see a whole lot about because Rhodes had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
But I mean, that wasn't the Colts' best team. So you never know when you're going to win that Super Bowl.
Well, you're the Giants beat New England. Who thought the Giants were going to beat New England in the Super Bowl? I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, do you think the Rams were the clear cut best team in the NFL last year? I don't. I mean, I'm not saying they wasn't a good team. I'm not saying they weren't a contender, and I'm not saying that I didn't think they had a chance to win the Super Bowl. I don't know if they was the best team in football last year.
Oh, no, I still think Buffalo was. And look what happened. But no, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited. But the Colts played the Texans this Sunday, and
Now,
eight and a,
I got a
they're eight
prediction, man.
they're 8.5 point favorites on the road. That it kind of, I ain't gonna say it surprised me. I thought they'd be favorites. I didn't know if they'd be 8.5 just because nobody nobody really knows what Ryan's going to look like. But the Texans are
We got a lot.
they're they're a dumpster fire right now.
We got a lot of question marks. I'm predicting the Colts win 27-13.
I said earlier I thought on the sports betting show that I thought the Colts was going to win by at least 10 points. But I mean, but our offense could go out there and look terrible. You just never know. But I think Colts can win by 10 points. And don't get me wrong, though. I think the Texans. I know they're not real talented right now, but I think Lovey Smith will get them guys to play some competitive football. And if they give him a chance, and if that owner if they'll bring in some right people, I think he could do good there in Houston.
Owner's got to give him some time. You know, it ain't gonna happen this year. They're gonna have to give it. They've let it go down so bad. They're gonna have to give it a good 3 years. Got to give Lovey Smith a chance. I think Lovey Smith can build something.
David, we should have beaten y'all in 06, damn it. He's a Bears fan.
I knew there was a reason why I didn't like him. Hey, all my brothers are Bears fans, so I can't say that. And before the Colts came, I was a Bears fan. So
Steve's a Bears fan?
I think so.
I don't know. I know he watches the Colts, but he probably watches the Bears too.
Yeah, I think he was a Bears fan before the Colts came, but he may have.
I know Junior. I know Junior's a diehard Bears fan.
Brother Tom was a Green Bay fan.
Yeah, Packers.
Richard, I think's a Bears fan, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he likes the Colts too. I think
Richard kind of roots for both, but like
he was a Bears.
I know Junior. Hey, he's diehard Bears.
Yeah, he was Bears fan, always Bears fan.
And Damien, to be honest with you, I'll be honest. I thought the Colts was going to win the Super Bowl after we beat New England. But then going into that Super Bowl as the week went on and with that weather forecast, I'm not gonna lie, I was worried about that game because I thought I didn't think they were gonna be able to throw the ball much because it talked like how much it was gonna rain. It was gonna come down to the running game. And I thought the Colts could be in trouble in a game like that.
I was more confident that we was going to beat New Orleans than I was we was going to beat the Bears.
Yeah.
And we lost to New Orleans.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I was more confident because there was just a matchup with the Bears, especially with the weather involved, where they were a running team.
Yep.
And we weren't known for our running game. We were known for passing the ball. But that's why I say Dominic Roach has to get a lot of credit because I think was Adai still there then? I think him and Adai both had decent games.
Yeah, Adai had a big game too.
Yeah.
Didn't Adai pick up a fumble or something? Or was that in the New England game? It was one of the running backs, and I think it was Adai, if I remember right. I think it's either in that game or it was in one of the playoff games, and a ball got fumbled, and he picked it up and took it on in the end zone.
Yeah. I can't remember which. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember exactly what game it was. But that's the thing, though. You just never know. Like I said, we've had teams. I still think that team that was undefeated and we rested the guys at the end of the year. I mean, that was a team that I thought could have won the Super Bowl, and then or no, that was we lost in the Super Bowl that year. I meant the other year when Dungy's boy passed away right there at the end of the season when we had that almost a perfect season going. I still think, and I mean, you don't know for sure, but I think the Colts would have won the Super Bowl that year. I thought we were going to win it that year. I mean, we were just on fire all season, and then that halted all our momentum and
took all the air out. It did.
They couldn't get it, and they couldn't get it back.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to go into all what happened. When something like that happens, though, I
Yeah.
mean, especially to the leader, he wasn't just the leader of the team. I
Yeah.
mean, when Dungy was there, he was the leader of that whole organization.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? And and then when something happens like that to a guy that's the leader of the whole organization, no matter how much you want to step up, it takes a toll on you.
Well, that one Super Bowl that Tampa Bay won, Dungy don't get enough credit. That was
That was
Dungy's
his
team.
team.
Dungy's team.
Yep.
I think Tampa Bay made a mistake giving up on him too soon.
Yeah.
I know they won a Super Bowl with Gruden, but it didn't last very long.
No, not. I mean, that was Gruden or not Gruden, but that was Dungy's players, Sapp and all them guys that was there with Dungy.
And it was Dungy's schemes. They didn't change much,
No.
especially on defense.
Yes, I don't give Gruden a lot of credit for that Super Bowl. I'll give him more for the one with the Raiders when he had Gannon as quarterback and stuff. Because I mean, I felt like that was more of him.
Yep.
But that Tampa Bay one, no, that was Dungy's team. And this would be the first time in I think was it 12 years that either Andrew Luck or T.Y. Hilton won't be on the field for the Colts.
Do you
That's
think
still, man.
Eberflus will turn the Bears around?
If he gets the right offensive coordinator, I do, because we know he can build a defense. We've seen what he helped there when Indianapolis build. I just have to get the right offensive coordinator, especially with that Fields' playing style. And don't get me wrong, I think Fields has the ability to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I think he has to get rid of the ball a little sooner. But if you get the right offensive coordinator there, I think the only thing that worries me about him is with the Bears right now is their wide receiving core.
I think
theirs might be a little bit weaker than the Colts.
I think one of the biggest things, and I know you got to get the ball out of your hands, but I think really what makes a big difference with quarterbacks, you got to be able to see the field. You got to be able to read defenses. If you can't do that, you're in trouble.
And when we say read defenses, it's not you have to be able to read the defenses pre-snap.
Yep.
That's what the difference between like your good to great quarterbacks and then your average quarterbacks. The guys that can look at the defense and see what see what's getting ready to happen, and then you know where to go. They know where to go to ball.
That's why I think it's so hard for sometimes to judge college players, because there's not that many. How do I say this and not piss people off? There's not that many great college football players, especially on defense. I mean, compared to the NFL,
Yeah.
once that level is such a big difference. I mean, we're seeing games. The first game, what was that one game this week? It was 67-64.
North Carolina and Appalachian State.
Yeah, or something like that. I mean, that's no defense at all. So it's kind of hard to be able to tell how good a receiver is, or a running back is, or a quarterback is, if you're playing against defenses that are not that great.
Yeah. And that's why you see some receivers that get drafted high come in the NFL and don't do real great. And then you see some that maybe been drafted a little bit lower that do great. You know what I mean? You just never know. But because you're right, the guys are bigger, but they're also faster, strong. I mean, it's the speed of the game. The speed of the NFL game is totally. I mean, a lot faster than what a college football game is.
Well, you're playing the best of the best in the NFL. I mean, if you're in the NFL and you're starting, you're pretty damn good. So I mean, in the college, there's so many college teams. There's no way. I mean, and I'm not putting anybody down. I mean, they've got skill. They're there. I mean, and they're there for a reason. And they were, but there's only so much to go around.
Yeah. Well, if it was easy, I mean, if there was so many players that could play in the NFL, you wouldn't have only maybe one. Some teams only get maybe one player off their college team to the NFL. You know what I mean? I mean,
there's teams don't get no college players.
Yeah. And like Georgia won national championship last year, lost like 8 of their defensive starters to the NFL.
Yeah.
And there's teams or colleges and probably their whole history that might not even have 8 players that's went to the NFL.
Well, let's say IU. It's a Big Ten school. They're a Big Ten school, and I'm not putting them down. But what's the most they get every year? 1 or 2 players to the
Yeah.
NFL. Some years maybe 9. Some years they may get 4.
Well,
But
I'm not. I'm an IU fan. I'm not putting them down, but there's times that our MAC school, Ball State here in Muncie, has got just as many or more to the NFL than IU. Right. I mean, right up there with them because I mean, hell, one of our starting offensive linemen for the Colts played right here at Ball State.
Well, the bottom line is, I mean, that's the thing with IU. I mean, I'm not putting them down, and they had a good year a couple years ago, but they couldn't sustain it. Is the recruiting? I mean, you're going against Ohio State and all these other schools, not counting even Notre Dame. It's not in the Big Ten. You're going against all these schools recruiting. They're not in the top 6 or 7 schools in the Big Ten that's recruiting wise. Just not.
No. What do you think? What are your expectations for the Colts on Sunday against the Texans? You think the offense is going to look good?
I think the offense
Defense?
I think the offense is going to look good. I think the defense is going to look great. That's why I said I think they're going to win 27-13.
Yeah, I think I didn't come with an exact number. I think at least I said by 10. I'm going to stick with that. I'm excited to see what the offense looks like because if our offense can get going, I think we're going to be a dangerous team because we have a defense. And hopefully this defensive coordinator can keep it up and hopefully make it even a little better. But I mean, we don't want to drop. But
well, honestly, I think they got more talent on defense this year than they had last year.
Oh yeah, especially adding Gilmore back there. You got Buckner now. You're getting Leonard back, and
Well, the other guy is healthy. That other defensive end's healthy.
Yeah,
so,
trying to think of his name.
The name. That's why I didn't bring it up. I know his name, but I can't pronounce it. So
I know his name, but I can't pronounce it.
So I'm not going to try.
It's good, but no, I think the offense. That's why I'm more. That's probably the only thing that I'm a little leery about is what is the offense going to look like, and not the running game, just our passing game. But because I believe this, I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl, but I believe the Colts could be a threat in the play, a serious threat in the playoffs if our receiving core can step up in our off and we have a passing game because I think we're going to have a top 10. I think we could very easily have a top 10 defense.
Yep.
At the very least, I think it could, you know what I mean? I think it could be a top 10 defense.
Well, with that running game, I think we should be able to have a top 10 offense.
And we added Lindsey. So we had another guy there, a running back that can make plays and catch the ball.
Chris, they cut Lindsey.
Oh, they cut him?
Yes.
I missed that.
They kept Jackson over Lindsey.
Okay.
Yeah, they let Lindsey go. They kept Jackson over Lindsey.
I did like that we kept Ellinger.
Yep.
We released that Notre Dame that cone from Notre Dame that we got, which and nothing against that cone guy. You gotta be good to even get to where he's at.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I think he might be one of them guys that spend some years on the practice squads and stuff like that, and maybe then eventually be like a backup. But I just don't unless there's some guys. I mean, look, nobody thought Tom Brady was going. People say now, oh yeah, I knew. No, you didn't. Nobody thought Tom Brady was going to be worth a damn. That's why he was drafted. That was why he was drafted when he was drafted. Nobody thought he was going to be a great player.
No.
And if Drew Bledsoe don't get hurt, when would Tom Brady got a chance to show that he could do that? You know what I mean? Things fell into place for that, and then of course, Tom Brady took advantage of his opportunity and
sure did,
and he turned it into being best quarterback ever. Basically, you have to get. Even though I hate to say that because I'm a big Peyton Manning fan. Brady and the Patriots kept us out of so many damn Super Bowls, but you got to give the guy his respect because I mean he's been the best to do it.
And especially since a lot of people wanted to say, well, it was the scheme, it was the coach, New England, and he goes to Tampa Bay and wins one. So
yeah. he could be in trouble this year with that Tampa Bay offensive line
Could be.
with the injuries they've had. You know what I mean? With them injuries. Whew. But no, in the defense, my expect. I agree with you. I think defense is going to be better than last year. We got to stop the run. I mean, that was
Well,
one. That's going
that's
to be the.
our defense should be better. And you look at it, we think they're upgraded quarterback, and the receiver core should be no worse than it was last year, and the running game should be as good. So I mean, really, the offense should be at least a little better at the very least.
And I know everybody's going to say he can't stay healthy, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And I agree with you. But if the dude can stay healthy, I think Paris Campbell could be a big weapon for us with
Could
that.
be.
Because the thing about when he's played, he'll make a big play and then he gets hurt. But you know what I
Yeah,
mean, he's made some plays and he's so damn fast.
he can
I
stretch
think
the field.
yeah, but we need him to stay healthy because I think if he stays healthy, he can maybe be that X factor guy for the Colts offense if he can stay healthy for the season. He can be one of them guys that makes a name for himself
Yeah.
this year. Especially because hey, Ryan can air it out, and you got some speed like that. I mean, I just is he too? I don't know. What's his? Is it? You think he's too small? Is that why he? But you've seen other small players be able to.
But last year when he got hurt, Chris, he didn't even get hit.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst injuries is the non-contact ones.
Got that long
That
pass,
sucks.
and
Yep.
he didn't even get hit. So that's what worries you.
Well, before we one more, let's talk one more thing real quick. If this doesn't work this season for the Colts, say we don't make, or say we make the playoffs, lose first round, you think Frank Reich might be gone?
We make the playoffs. I think if we make the playoffs, I think he's okay. Unless we just got killed in the playoffs. So, just say we got destroyed by 25, 30 points. I think if we make the playoffs, we play competitive all year long, I think he would be given another year. I think if we have a bad year and only win 7 games, I think he's gone.
Oh yeah, if they don't make the playoffs, I think he's definitely gone. And I don't know, man, if he don't win a playoff game, uh, I could see Irsay pulling that trigger. Because you're talking about a guy that we should have beat Buffalo the one year. It's not kicking field goals bit us in the ass. And
Yep.
then if you should, I mean, if you look at this team shouldn't be worse than last year's team. So you should have a chance to be in the playoffs. And if you don't, I think he needs to win a playoff game. I think Irsay's starting to get. I think
Yeah.
Irsay's starting to get impatient.
Yep.
I think that was one, and I think his thing this year was telling when he got rid of Wentz was telling Reich, this don't work. You're the next one to go because who's he going to get rid of if this don't work?
Yeah.
It either has to be Reich or Ballard, and
And I don't think Ballard's drafts have been bad. So
no, I think Ballard put pretty good teams together. So I think that if this don't work, the next guy to go is going to be Reich. And I do. I think he probably needs to win at least one playoff game.
the only thing that could be in trouble if say if the receiving core don't work out this year, and if Ballard was one of them said we didn't need to go out and get another receiver,
Yeah.
and Reich said that could bite both of them. That would be the only thing, because there were people out there they could have got, and of course they've been older. And I'm not saying super, Hilton, the dude from Atlanta, who had a history with Ryan. Can't think of his Julio Jones. There was
Yeah.
people out there they could have got his insurance policy, and
Yeah, they got Julio,
they didn't feel like
OBJ.
they didn't feel like
Uh,
they needed it. So if that comes back to bite them, that could cost somebody their job.
no, if the Colts stay healthy, that's the key, especially our offensive line. If our offensive line stays healthy,
Yeah, offensive line's got to protect Ryan. If our offensive line don't protect Ryan, it could be a long year.
if Quentin Nelson, that offensive line stays healthy, and that new right tackle can at least just be sufficient. I think the Colts could. I think
Let me,
Colts could go deep in the playoffs. I really do.
this is not really about this year, but do you think Ellinger might be the quarterback of the future for the Colts a couple years down the road?
I think that might be the direction the Colts are thinking. I mean, from what we've seen, from what I've seen them in the last couple of times, I can see them giving him a shot, especially if he keeps improving. I think Matt Ryan coming there has really helped Ellinger too.
I think so too.
But like I just seen some of the preseason game when Ellinger's played. But I know Glenn. I know Glenn. He goes to some of the training camps and all the. Glenn's everywhere. If it's Colts, Pacers,
Yep.
Fever, NASCAR, it don't matter. Glenn's everywhere. But
Yep.
and I know how high Glenn has talked about him, and he's got to see him in person. You know what I mean? So, I do. I think I think that might be their plan. I think they think they can get 2 or 3 good years out of Ryan. Hopefully, win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And kind of groom Ellinger to give him a chance to be the guy that succeeds him.
Well, another thing, Chris, they're built. I mean, they're young at the receiver position. They're young at the running back position.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really young. I don't think the defense is that old. I think they're pretty young. I think they're a pretty young team overall. So I mean, they're built to stay together for 3 or 4, 5, 6 years. I mean, definitely.
And honestly, if you can bring Ellinger up and he can be that guy, that even helps you keep the team together and stronger longer, because then you're not going out and spending a bunch of money for a quarterback. Because that first year of Ellinger starting, you're going to be getting him. That first year of Ellinger starting, say he comes out and he plays real good and takes you to playoffs. You got him cheap as hell.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to have to end up paying him, but you'll have that gives you another 2 or 3 years of not having to pay that big contract that you can keep putting people on your team.
And like you said, the real important part is that the fact that Ellinger being behind a guy like Ryan, who's going to help him. You know, if you're behind the right guy for a couple of years, it can really help you progress. And I think that he's in the right situation. If he gets the opportunity, I think that Ryan's the type of guy that's going to help him. You don't always get that from your starting quarterback because they're worried about their position. And you know, we've heard stories about Rodgers that he really didn't want to help Love.
I see both sides of it. You know what I mean? I
But
understand. Yeah, being a professional, you should help and being about the team. You should help, but also it'd be hard to say. It could be also be hard to help a guy take your job.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think Ryan's worried about that.
No, Ryan, especially at this point in his career,
Yeah.
Ryan ain't worried about
The
that.
situation he's in,
Yeah.
he's comfortable in his own skin that he's not worried about that. And of course, Ellinger wasn't a #1 draft pick either. Like Lord, they went up and got him.
Yeah.
I understand. That's a different
And
situation.
just like people were making a big deal about, I think it was Tannehill said he wouldn't. It wasn't his job to.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, he's just telling the truth. I mean, it really isn't his job. His job is to, in when you're still a young player, a younger player that thinks I can still play,
Yeah.
and people are telling you need to help this guy take your job. I can understand maybe not wanting to. You know, I mean, I understand both sides of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a team. It's also a team sport and everything, but hell, you know how, especially the athletes at that level. You know how hell, I know how competitive just like the athletics I've done and stuff. I was never at that level. You get to that level,
Yeah.
all the egos. I mean, you can, and you know, what I mean, they all think they're the best. So you're not. It'd be hard. I mean, it could be hard to train a guy to take your job from you. But like you said, when you're a little bit older, like Ryan is, and you're getting that part of your career, then it could be a better. It can work out. Because look what Alex Smith done for Patrick Mahomes.
You know, Ryan thinks he can play for another 5 years. So.
Yeah. He was talking like he wanted to play for. I think I read a thing. He said 6 more years, or something like that.
But I think
I hope he does, because if he plays for 6 more years, that means he's playing some good football. That means the Colts are doing good.
Yeah.
Because if he don't do good here as a starter, I don't know if he might not get another chance as a starter.
That's true.
But a lot of people said that about Wentz, and look, when they went to Washington, I think Wentz is going to have a good year in Washington. I think Washington's going to win that division.
Now, you mentioned the fact about Glenn, and I know he's a big wrestling fan. You tell Glenn he needs to have a talk with Indianapolis, and he's such a fan of all sports. He needs to try to get us a SummerSlam at the Dome, at the Colts place. They'll tell him to get started on that, and let's get. I know we're probably gonna get a WrestleMania, but hell, SummerSlam there would be great.
I'm surprised they haven't got a WrestleMania there.
But now, hey, I don't think I mean, with Triple H making these events bigger, and they're going to be going in a lot more stadiums in these big shows like the SummerSlam and the Royal Rumble. Why not have a Royal Rumble or a SummerSlam there in Indianapolis? Because they can hold. I know that can hold 60-some thousand.
Yeah, it holds close to 70, and then you put all the chairs on the floor. They probably could get close to 90 to I'd probably say about close to 90,000, 90,000 people in there.
Yeah,
maybe more than that. You know how they put those chairs in there.
yeah, I think that'd be perfect if we're not going to get if they want to go to the big cities like California, stuff like that for the WrestleMania, man, let's do a Royal Rumble or a SummerSlam. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. That SummerSlam that we went to, and it wasn't even a stadium show. It was just in the Pacers arena, and that was awesome.
Yep.
All right, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about Colts before we get out of here?
Nope. I think I'm good. I'm just excited, ready for some football.
Hopefully, we can stay healthy this last week. Practicing, getting prepared for it. Yeah, I'm ready for. I can't wait until Thursday night. I think that game's going to be. I think that game's going to be a good game. And
we got a good showing from that punter the first game. The new punter, he punted over a 50-yard average. So hopefully he can keep that up.
I ain't gonna lie. I was hoping McAfee was going to come back. That'd been awesome.
I just don't think.
I don't think he could with the now. If it would have happened like 2 years ago, he probably would have. But now with signing that multi-year deal with WWE and stuff, I just don't. With everything he has going on, I don't think he could.
Yep.
Because I mean, his business is just exploding.
Yep, sure has.
And he getting ready to do Amazon TV games.
I think so.
I might, and that's it. Hey, everybody, that's something you want to remember because they'll get you on that. The first Thursday night game is on like NBC or one of the regular channels, and after that, they're not on. They're on the Amazon TV. So if you don't have the Amazon TV app or whatever, you won't be able to get those Thursday night games. So just a little bit of a heads up.
I don't think it should be an issue for us, should it?
No, it shouldn't be. I don't think it's going to be an issue for us. But I mean, that's something a lot of people will happen that night. People be looking for the game and not going to be able to find it.
People going to be going to bars.
I mean, because I know the Colts probably don't play a whole lot Thursday night, but if you're a fan of football like we are, I watch all the Thursday night games. So, I'd be looking for it.
I took off work to see this Thursday night game. I was excited for Buffalo and the Rams, but I usually have to work on Thursdays. But I'm off this Thursday.
If there's an NFL game on, I usually watch. I don't care what team it is. Now, when the Colts are on, I'm fired up. I just love watching football. I think it's one of the best sports to watch on TV. It
is.
Now, I love going to baseball games live, which I watch baseball on TV about every day. But even going to NFL live is fun too. But I don't know. I love going to baseball games live, but watching sports on TV, I think NFL is just superior in that, and I think that's why
it's the best. It's the best to watch live. Basketball is fun to watch live. I mean, best on TV is NFL, too. But I think NFL is my favorite. Baseball's pace. I mean, I love going to watch games in the stadium, but its pace is still a lot longer. I love watching hockey live, so too.
I've been watching more hockey. I'm starting to get into it a little more.
I wish more people would go check out a live game. I think they would like it more. I don't think TV does it justice.
I'd like to go watch a soccer game live because all these people love soccer, and and nothing against soccer. I just watching on TV. I just haven't been able to really get into it. Everybody says go to one live game and then you'll change your mind.
I will admit I liked watching the World Cup. When the World Cup was on, I watched the World Cup when the women's and stuff was playing. So I watched some of it and I enjoyed it. But of course, I love the Olympics. Olympics is one of my favorites.
I love the Olympics.
Summer and even winter. Of course, I like summer better, but I even like the winter too.
Hell, I'm watching tennis right now.
I'm watching replay of Clash of the Castle.
Watching U.S. Open. But well, all right, we're gonna get out of here for this episode of Horseshoe Talk. But we will be back on Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Be on the lookout. We'll have some other shows. Hopefully, we can reschedule an interview with Holden from last week. I'm gonna see if we can maybe get that in this week. So follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Gonzo Sports Room. It's where we post all of our information about all the shows. We'll have some live independent live wrestling streams coming here real soon. Unfortunately, we missed a couple over the weekend, but well, and then we got a big one on October 1st, where Mick Foley and Boogeyman and all them are going to be at. So
Yeah, they can't.
Yep, in Jay County. So it's going to be a good time. Don't forget Gonzo and the Judge, Sports Talk tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room, and YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at All Sports All Plays Network, and on YouTube at The Sports Judge. that show goes to so many different places. It's hard to remember it all, read them all off.
Yeah.
But yeah, join us tonight for that. Should be a great show. The Judge and I haven't got to talk for over a week because I was sick all last week, so it should be a good show tonight, especially talking about all the crazy college football stuff that went on over the weekend and heading into the NFL season. Join us for that tonight. And I think what's coming. And also check out ASAP After Dark. I think it's on at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern night on the All Sports All Plays Network. Check out their show with Tony and Alana and them. They put on a great show. Check that show out. But I want to thank everybody for joining us, and we will see you guys on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern for some more Horseshoe Talk.
Everybody have a good night.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.